Joining us today on Pirate Radio Live, former Pirate great wide receiver Aundrae Allison. Aundrae, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great today. How you doing?
Doing well. And
What's up with that Dolphins hat, man?
hey, I'm glad you asked. Former Pirate Radio intern Young Joey, aka the Puerto Rican Dream, has moved on to a gig with the Miami Dolphins and Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, and he sent us a care package today. So
Wow, congrats
my
on him. For,
gift was the Dolphins fitted throwback, and yeah,
I
looks
love
good.
that.
So
I love that. Nah, that's kudos to him. Congrats to him for that.
absolutely, and yeah, I never wear another NFL team's hat, but after the losing streak my team's on, and this this sweet thing coming today in
uh,
the mail, I figured I'd wear it, Andre. So
no, it has to be a reason behind it. That stood out. That stood
yeah,
out instantly.
there you go. Yeah, Dolphins pick and the wild world of the NFL. You never know. In fact, it affected the guys right there in your neck of the woods yesterday, right? The Panthers coming off the best win of the season for any team in Lambeau. They turn around, lose at home to the Saints. So tough to figure out, man.
Yeah, it is. You know what? Those two matchups, though, it's always like a coin flip. I feel like sometimes the Saints just, I don't know, they impose their will on the Panthers, but it's a game we should have won for sure, especially based on how they've been playing. They don't have a good quarterback play, so it's no reason to lose that game.
Nah, them division games though, they get a little
Yes,
tricky. So
yes.
all right, well, look, the Pirates have had their issues with the Charlotte team, but it did not happen on Saturday. ECU taking care of business at home the way they should, and Andre once again getting off to a great start, clicking on offense, and we had some calls on the fifth quarter about hey, we need to keep the foot on the gas, foot on the throat, put them away, all that, but. When you get off to such a great start, you can lax off a little bit. You don't want to see it, but it does happen. But I don't know. I don't have many complaints out of what we saw from the Pirates on Saturday.
No, I don't either. I mean, a win like that is big. Obviously, we put up a lot of points, and it was a balanced attack. It is good to see like that consistent play, but I can't say like a game like that. I would have loved to see more like aggressive play calls, like with as far as taking passes or shots down the field. Because I mean, we only had what like 240 something yards of passing, right? And it was a lot of attempts. So I would like to see like more aggressive pass plays, some bang eight, some deep posts or something like that. Because you can afford to do it kind of like in a game like that to explore with it, just to kind of like, get out of that conservative type of mentality coaching.
Well, we saw Anthony Smith make some plays, got in the end zone, but dropped one that would have been a big pass play, Andre. And I've heard the myth. You can tell me as a receiver that played at your level if it's true or not. The old like I'm too open. You think about it too much. Is that a thing? Because if so, it looked like it happened to Anthony on Saturday.
It can be a thing. It can be a thing. I mean, I never allowed that to creep into my mind. I was just thinking about, just a touchdown period, but it's just like, all that stuff is mental for sure. You can sometimes get in your own way, and that's just one of the moments where he definitely got in his own way, but it would have definitely been a big play.
Any thoughts on the defense, Andre? Again, give up more points than you want to against Charlotte, but it's in a blowout victory. You can excuse it, but how about the defense at this point in the season, Andre? With a few left to go, how you feeling about that side?
I feel good about them. I mean, they didn't give up a lot of first downs, so they couldn't. Charlotte didn't have a good rhythm, and we had the pick six, right? So I
Yep.
do feel like they've been the most consistent phase or side of the ball the whole year when I look at our team. But I am also, happy to see how they're kind of like getting a rest because I'm a big believer in that. Like early on, they were taking and they was carrying so much of the
Yeah.
load as far as like with the team. So now they can kind of like dial it back, get their legs back, and recover from some of those little small injuries that I'm sure that they had because they spent a lot of time on the field early on in those big games, and those are some pretty big opponents. So it's kind of like that's how I'm looking at the defense. They're like gearing back, but they're kind of like reset and ready to push forward with these next few opponents that we have.
That's a great point, Andre. In our three losses, they were living on the field, and we were doing nothing to help them out. First half against State, first half against Tulane, and a lot of the game against BYU. A lot of three and outs, a lot of get right back on the field, and boy, you saw it in our touchdown drives on Saturday. like 9 plays, drives taken up 4 minutes plus, things like that. I don't really think about that until you mention it, but that's huge for our defense.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking that early on, and seeing our defense perform at such a high level early in the season, I was just like hoping and wishing no one, sustained a huge injury, because I do know it's a
Yeah.
lot of contact, and our defense is really physical, and they get after it. So I'm just happy to see it's not a lot of big injuries and some nicks and knacks there that I'm sure that can be touched up with the great recovery that we have at the school. So I think it's all set up, designed for us to have a great push here, to finish the season.
All right, Pirates stay in that one-loss club in the American. One team that dropped from that club is Memphis, who fell to Tulane the other night at home. So now Memphis, kind of just playing for pride at this point and to set themselves up at the best possible position for a bowl. But they would need a ton of help to play for an American championship now. So for East Carolina, they are still playing with that carrot at the end of the stick, Aundrae. So, how do you feel about the matchup, knowing what you know now with East Carolina just 1 loss, Memphis with 2 losses?
I think that sets us up for to be, the winner in that matchup, because it almost looks like Memphis has kind of like lost their mojo in a sense. I could see them kind of like spiraling, going in the wrong direction. And like I said, it's like football is like very like a momentum type of sport. So it's like we're peaking and going in the right direction at the right time, and it looks like they're going in the opposite direction at the right time for us. So
Yeah.
I definitely could see how that loss could spiral them out, because with the NIL, that's one of the downsides of things, because players now can almost just turn it off because they know that they don't have anything to play for. So we can just use that to our advantage. I'm sure some of those players are tapped out though by now.
No, that's a good point, Aundrae Allison joining us. Pirates doing it from all angles on Saturday. And Nick Mazzy, the special teams player of the week after hitting a couple field goals, 1 from 50 yards. And what does that do for an offense, Aundrae, when you know you can count on a kicker to hit one from that distance if you need to? It can it's got to give you a little boost, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's like a silent secret weapon whenever your offense, you can get to certain areas of the field and you feel that confident in your kicker to be able to put it through the goalpost. That's a huge silent weapon that you have like stored away in your back pocket. But I am noticing, what about this clip? Do you feel like the field goals have just increased, like the yardage? People are just doing crazy attempts in college and pros and actually making it consistently. I don't know what it is with that. Like, do they inflate the ball differently or something? What's going on?
That's a great question. I know the ball, they do have a separate ball in the NFL. Has it always been that way, Aundrae? Do you remember from back when you played?
What are you talking about? The difference of the balls in college and,
There's
and
like
the pros?
no. Like in the NFL, there's a ball the quarterback, the offense uses, and
Oh
there's
yeah,
like a K ball, a kicker ball or whatever.
yeah, it is, and they'll be darker, or they might have a little bit more wear and tear on them,
Right.
So yeah, I'm thinking, I'm like, are the kickers just doing better leg exercises, or what is it? It has to be something. But I like seeing the kickers come in and do that, and then on the opposite side, they might miss a regular extra point.
I
And
know that's the weird part of it. The distance has gone up, but the accuracy might has struggled with it. I don't know.
yeah.
It's frustrating as I guess if you're the kickoff team with the new rules and stuff, if you don't get it into the right zone or area or whatever, the other team gets it at the 40-yard line. You're basically, the way the kickers are now, a first down away from giving up 3 points.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that.
So
I always thought back. I said I wish those rule changes would apply when I was there, special teams wise, because special teams was not my favorite. But I do like how now it's kind of getting to the point to where the NFL and football are really starting to pay attention to see how it's really not as needed as they thought it was, because football is doing just fine with all the modifications.
yeah, and I love the number of returns we have seen this year. But with Washington, when things are going good, Luke McCaffrey was a major weapon for us returning kicks. Jalen Lane actually returned a punt for us earlier this season. But we're seeing more and more returns, and for a while it went away due to the safety. But I guess the way they've got it now, they think that they are reducing the number of injuries while still having kick returns. So they've maybe found a happy medium with it.
Oh yeah, I mean the injuries were serious. I remember seeing a statistic when I was in the league when I tore my ACL on kick return when I was on
Man,
the Jets, and the statistics that they brought up to me, it was insane on how many ACL injuries there were on kick returns and kickoff plays like that.
hmm.
So yeah, I like seeing those injuries cut down because you lose so much value when players like that go down. Whether it's like one of your top tacklers or something like that, or
Yeah.
somebody that's just like blocking and protecting. This is like an unnecessary play that could have been avoided, like if they would have been open to like modifying it like that.
Aundrae Allison joining us. Aundrae, as we look around the landscape of college football now, you've got some teams rising to the top. Alabama has continued to win since they lost their opener against Florida State. Notre Dame, one of those teams that lost a couple early, now they are in. We had a good discussion with Mac McCarthy earlier about, does Notre Dame deserve to be in the playoff? I mean, they lost head-to-head to Miami. My thought is, instead of propping Miami up, let's kick Notre Dame and Miami out. I'd be okay with that. But I don't know what are you looking at here down the stretch? You've still got your three, I guess, quote unquote big boys with Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M. Who do you like outside of that? Georgia put the beat down on Mississippi State the other night. So kind of Georgia and Bama are trying to get back into the, hey, we belong at the top of the tier discussion.
Yeah, I honestly, that quarterback play in Alabama, that's serious. Like he's playing a whole nother level. I
Yeah.
love seeing that kind of play. But yeah, I do feel like it's gonna be hard to count out those type of teams. The SEC, they're always gonna be, peaking at the right time, and that's what I think. When I saw Georgia go in that shootout with Ole Miss, I said, yeah,
Yep.
Georgia, they can win anyway. So, that's terrifying. It could be an ugly game, it could be a defensive game, it could be a shootout. They still can win. So, I
That's a good
wouldn't put
point.
anything past, Coach Smart and that Alabama quarterback play. They look like a national championship team.
And history tells me not to do this, but I'm going to buy in on Lane and Ole Miss. I really like them this year, and I
Yeah.
had them. I had them in that Georgia game you talked about, and they were leading most of that game. Georgia took control at the end, but when they came back and bounced back and beat Oklahoma on the road the following week, I was like, this Ole Miss team's a little different. So I'm gonna ride with Lane and them this year to make a nice run in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. I like teams like that because I saw when he took over just the whole effort and the whole mentality and the swag that he brought. It just changed the whole program. And I like seeing like when conferences are balanced out like that. So I'm definitely rooting for teams like that. But if Notre Dame gets in, it won't be a surprise because their fan base, they're gonna draw and generate a lot of money if they're in the playoffs. So I wouldn't be shocked over that.
Aundrae Allison joining us, talking football, and a good one tonight, Aundrae. Did the Packers get off the mat after what happened to them last week against the Panthers? They host the Eagles, and I just going off what I've seen watching football for 30 plus years, 40 years. This is a great spot for Green Bay to bounce back. However, they're playing against the Eagles team that is coming off a bye. So, how do you forecast that, Aundrae? Just generally speaking, teams off a bye. Do you normally like to pick them to win the following week?
I always base it off of like organization or like their locker room veterans. I feel like the Eagles have always had a solid core foundation of like leaders in the locker room. So I definitely don't expect them to come out flat or lackluster because I mean, one of their top leaders is Saquon, and he's the great example. Then you got AJ Brown, and then the defense always has those guys who gonna keep everybody lined up. So I don't really expect them to come out flat or look like they're just taking a game off. And I definitely don't see them, continuing that whole thing early on the season. They have an identity. They wasn't
Yeah.
playing to this level. I feel like they use some of those um, comments in the media to kind of like use that as motivation because you can easily get like complacent after that run they had last year. But I think that did ignite them whenever people was talking bad about them.
Aundrae, I saw one thing on Saquon early in his career that shaped the whole way I think about him. It was, of course, he was with the Giants, and they were losing a game. It was one of those NFL films, mic'd up type things,
Hmm.
and I don't even know if he was the one mic'd up, so he wasn't doing it for show or anything. But they're on the sidelines. You even got Eli, who is the leader, kind of standing by himself, being quiet. Everybody down on the bench, and it's the rookie Saquon Barkley who's going up to the veteran lineman. Hey guys, let's go, let's get up, let's go. We got a quarter left. Let's let's get getting in everybody's face. And I'm like, for a rookie who's making he's a top 5 pick, whatever, to be that guy on the bench doing that, I'm like, this guy's the real deal, and he has shown that is who he is his whole career. You said it a moment ago, when your best player is your leader, that says a lot, I think.
Yeah, him and Jalen Hurts, they have huge advantages though, because like they have a strong father presence in their lives, like, and you can just tell because of like they wear their position, like they wear it like with honor. It's not like it's not even about the money, it's not about the contract. It's like, I'm carrying myself how I'm supposed to be carrying myself, and I was taught that by the person who was before me. So if you know their storylines, their father presence is the huge reason why they are like how they are.
Sounds like you're going Eagles tonight.
I'm definitely going Eagles, man. I love when teams have great balance and they got like explosive players, especially with Devontae and AJ. Those are like my 2 favorite receivers in the league. And then I always love how to look at Jalen Hurts cleats, because he always has a nice pair of Jordan cleats on. So
all right,
those things right there got me a little biased against the Packers.
I see that Luka is in your town. You can go watch Luka tonight play the Hornets.
Possibly, those tickets be dirt cheap. So
even for a Lakers game?
Well, nah, they go up for the Lakers game. Yeah. So, what's fascinating, Clip, is like when teams like that play the Hornets, we see more Laker billboards up. It's like Lakers coming to town. You're like, we're in Charlotte. Why are y'all promoting the Lakers? But I mean, I get it. And Luka looks good this year. He's playing at another level, and his body is totally like changed into like from a fat boy to now a lean NBA player.
Yeah, definitely had a little pudge going, and now, he is getting it done. He's the man. All right, Aundrae, good stuff, man. Enjoy the week. How you feeling? It sounds like you'd like the Pirates to keep it rolling. You're going with the Memphis is showing some signs of going down, while the Pirates are going the opposite direction. You think ECU gets it done on Saturday?
Yeah, we got a huge mental advantage over them. I'm telling you, the players now, once they find out they're not going to be really playing for nothing at the end, I feel like it's easy for them to go in the opposite direction. But I do have to. I don't want to leave out just congratulating Hardy and and Weezy, for their induction to the Hall of Fame. That's huge. I love seeing that kind of stuff.
What a great day, man! Homecoming and the Hall of Fame. Well, did you play with Brandon Simmons, or did you miss out on?
Yeah, I played with Brandon Simmons. Yeah,
we're gonna talk to Brandon later this week. He was here and just kind of get a feel of who all was around for homecoming and Hall of Fame. But it was a great weekend of celebration, Aundrae. Some great players were honored.
Yeah, for sure. I love seeing that because it makes me think about, you get a scholarship and you get the opportunity to play for a college like East Carolina, but then it also helps you like transition after football into, a good role model, a good citizen, for the general public. So I just love seeing that. And I'm always thankful for being around people like that and still having relationships with them.
Right. Yeah. We've talked about, PH and some guys that you've brothers for life, right? Just and you. If you didn't come to ECU, never would have known who these dudes were. So it's pretty cool.
No, absolutely. You're right about that.
All right, Dre. Appreciate you, man. We'll check in with you again next week, hopefully talking about a big W.
Oh, yeah, we will. Go Pirates. I'll talk to you next week.